First of all, Mr. President, we don't work for you. I don't work for you. My job is to cover you, not fawn over you or rip you, just report on you, to call balls and strikes on you. My job, Mr. President, our job here is to keep the scores, not settle scores. Now, in my case, to report the economic numbers when they're good and when they're bad, when the markets are soaring and when they're tumbling, when trade talks look like they're coming together and when they look like they're falling apart. It is called being fair and balanced, Mr. President, yet it is fair to say you're not a fan when that balance includes stuff you don't like to hear or facts you don't like to have questioned.
Is Donald Trump losing Fox News? That was Fox News anchor Neil Cavuto pushing back against President Trump's criticism of the network's coverage, responding on the air yesterday to Trump's tweet earlier this week that proclaimed Fox isn't working for us anymore. Gene Robinson, your latest piece is titled Trump's Trade War Could Get Him Kicked Out of Office. You write in part this: President Trump is conducting his trade war with China as though it were a zero-sum game, but it's not. It's a negative-sum game. Both sides lose. Sad and self-defeating. It's clear at this point that Trump's ill-advised gambit on tariffs and bombast is hurting both economies. The question is, who can more stoically withstand the pain? An autocrat with a mandate to rule indefinitely over a tightly controlled one-party state, or a democratically elected president with dismal approval ratings who must face voters in 14 months' time? With all his tariffs and all his tirades, Trump has managed to do just one thing: give Chinese leader Xi Jinping the upper hand. I mean, you wonder, if he's losing Trump and other conservatives who don't like this trade war, and this could be the real turning point for him, Gene, because I'm hearing it too. I'm hearing conservatives who are saying, we liked what he was doing on regulation. We really don't like this trade war and the impact it's having on the economy, and it's totally self-inflicted. He has to do something, or else he's perhaps going to lose their support, like he's lost Neil Cavuto's.
Right. That support is drifting away, despite the fact that Republicans in Congress have slavishly gone along with everything the president has done on the trade war, despite their longstanding opposition to tariffs, their longstanding position in favor of free trade, et cetera, et cetera. It's not the case that all sort of Republican-leading people and institutions in the country, like the Chamber of Commerce and other business groups and business people, it's not the case that they are thrilled by what is basically economic self-immolation. I mean, it's clearly hurting the U.S. economy as well as the Chinese economy, and to what end? And it just struck me that what he has effectively done, the self-proclaimed artist of the deal, has given his adversary enormous power over Donald Trump's own political future. Xi Jinping can now decide whether he wants to make a deal or not, just suffer the economic pain, let the economic situation deteriorate here, decrease Donald Trump's chances of getting reelected. And that is now Xi's decision, not Donald Trump's decision.
So there are two things sort of going on at once here. First of all, just the president and his relationship with Fox News, which does seem to have really soured in recent weeks. I mean, he still speaks to a number of these anchors off air, private conversations. Lou Dobbs, in particular, has become his top informal advisor, but he still, according to our reporting, he still speaks to Sean Hannity quite a bit. He speaks to Tucker Carlson quite a bit and has leaned on them, particularly on foreign policy advice, if that's to be believed. And that, but he is grown concerned that he feels like Fox should be sort of on his side, that they should be part of the party apparatus. Yeah. They should be part of the White House communications office, and is grown upset when he feels like commentators criticize him, or when even the polling department's polls don't reflect kindly upon him. And he's been elevating time and time again OAN, which is this other conservative network, as an alternative to that. But beyond that, there is a growing concern within the White House, but also conservatives at large, about the fate of this trade war, where this is going, that this could really be the thing that undermines his chance for re-election, because the Chinese do seem inclined to kind of wait him out. There's far less pressure there for them to make a deal, while, of course, the clock is ticking for the president's re-election efforts. So, Susan, let me ask you this: from what you're hearing out there, talking to other conservatives, particularly those in some of these key battleground Midwest states, is there an expectation that at some point the president's going to cut a deal, even if perhaps it's not the best deal, but one that he can spin as a win? And do you think that would be enough to keep their support and sort of alleviate their concerns about the trade deal and the impact it's having on the economy?
Actually, right now, Jonathan, people are worried he's going to cut a bad deal just to get himself out of this situation, to get the headlines out. You know, we went from Donald Trump thinking American first, and it sounded good to farmers and other people involved in the trade war, to America alone. And when we have a global economic slowdown and we have these tariff wars, it's disaster for manufacturers and farmers in this country. Add to that, Eugene touched on it, the chambers of commerce and business groups are not happy with this trade war, nor are they happy with the president's immigration policies, because they also need workers. So this is all starting to unravel for the president. And again, I think at this point, knowing that there's only 14 months to go, he may make a very bad deal that these farmers can't work themselves out of. And especially in the swing states, it's going to be difficult for the president.
Yeah, Susan, look, here's Axios, just to your last point. Axios out this morning with a report on worker deserts in certain